Hi guys, back to do a video. I've not done one in probably about a month, maybe even longer. Yeah, I've picked up a few things. Obviously it was Record Store Day on Saturday, and as always I got given some birthday money, which I made full use of. Because my birthday's on the 22nd, so it always lands Record Store Days kind of within a week of my birthday, which is always quite handy. So thankfully the list this year, there wasn't too much on it that I was interested in, but there was a few things. I managed to whittle the list down to 4 things that I definitely wanted, plus one thing I wanted to get for Rob as well, but I'm not going to show that because I want it to be a surprise when I send it out to him. Anyway, a relatively small stack this year. Flaming Lips, I was actually hoping they were going to release in the UK what they released in the US for Record Store Day, but they didn't, because this Heady Nugs box set, I've got the Heady Nugs one, I've got the other one, the Flaming Lips, the 20 years after Clouds Taste Metallic box set, plus the Zyrika box set, but they released in the US a box set that came after this one, which is the albums between I think 2006 and 2012, 2014, I can't remember. So it's got Embryonic and Dark Side of the Moon and Heady Friends, and all those albums, Christmas on Mars. But it only got a US release, but hopefully it'll get a UK release maybe on Black Friday. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. So I might hang out till then, because I quite often find that the things that get released in the US for Record Store Day, we end up getting on Black Friday. So fingers crossed for that one. But they did release this, which they also released in the US as well, which is Lightning Strikes the Postman, which is an alternate mix of Clouds Taste Metallic. It's a CD and a comic that Wayne Coyne wrote and drew. And being a Postman and a Flaming Lips fan, I had to get that. But I think it's exactly the same as the US release. There was 2 Bowie items that I was after this year. First one is the most recent single in his picture disc series. This is TVC 15, back with Wild is the Wind. Even though the price of these things has, I think the first ones that came out were kind of 8 or 9 quid each, which is probably about right really, but now they've started creeping up. The Record Store Day ones are normally around 12 to 15, but even the standard ones are kind of 10 or 12 pounds now. But I think this must be about the 15th, 16th one, maybe even more than that. But I have them all now, so this is cool. And I had a few duplicates as well, which I sold to help fund my record buying. The other item that he released was this, which is a picture disc of The Man Who Sold the World. And the picture on the cover, I think, was a European, was it a German or Dutch cover to the album? I can't honestly remember. But yeah, great album. Has some of my favourite Bowie songs on it, namely The Width of a Circle, which I love. But yeah, so I had to pick this up. But again, this was pricey for what it is, really, I suppose. But then all record store day things are pricey for what they are. And finally, the last record store day item that I got, another band always put stuff out for record store day, is the Grateful Dead. This is one of these things that, had I not been given birthday money, I would probably never spend this kind of money on something, because this was a lot. You know, even if this had been packaged as 4 individual albums, it's a 4 LP box set. You know, if you split this price into 4, it's still going to be expensive for 4 individual albums. You know, I don't know where they get the prices from for these things. I mean, the pressing's lovely. The vinyl is great. It's heavyweight. But is it value for money? I'm not so sure. Limited to 7,700 copies. I presume that's worldwide. Great, but there's not even like a booklet or anything in this. It's literally just the box with the 4 records. But apparently, I've not had a chance to listen to it yet. But apparently, it's a great concert. It was released at the recorded at the Capitol Theatre on the 25th of April 1977. So practically a year before I was born. But I'm pleased to have this. Like I said, I always like to pick up the Grateful Dead items. But I'm glad I'm not a Grateful Dead completist, because the amount of stuff that they release and the prices of it are ludicrous, really. So that was all my record store day items. Like I said, apart from the thing I've picked up for Rob, and actually they didn't get all their stuff in, so there's maybe going to be more arriving today. So I might go back and have another look tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon after work or something. But on to my other purchases. The only new item I've bought recently is this, which is the Magnetic North's second album, called Prospect of Skelmersdale, which is the follow-up to their Symphony, their Orkney Symphony of the Magnetic North that came out a few years ago, that I kind of raved about. So if you liked their first album, this is basically, well, I'm not going to say it's the same. It's obviously the subject is different, but the sound palette used to paint the picture is the same. I think this is going to be the second of a trilogy of albums. Being that the first one was based in Orkney, there's 3 members of the band, and each album seems to be based on the town that a member of the band grew up in. So it's a cool idea. Hopefully there'll be a third one of Hannah Peel's hometown, which I think is an island somewhere. But well worth getting. If you like the first one, definitely check this out. It doesn't have the same impact to me as the first one did, but then that's possibly, because the sound is so similar, and obviously the first one is based here where I live. So, but definitely worth getting. So that is Prospect of Skelmersdale by the Magnetic North. So 180 gram vinyl, comes with a download code. Definitely worth checking out. The first album I bought with money that I've been selling things with is Donovan's Sunshine Superman. An album I've wanted for a long time. It wasn't one of the things that was high up. Like I said, I have a kind of hit list of 5 or 10 albums that I'm looking for. This wasn't on that list, but I saw this for a really good price, and it looked to be in really great condition. So I jumped on it because it's something that I've wanted for a long time. It's a strange album, this, because this is the UK version of Sunshine Superman. Now, the US versions are of Sunshine Superman and is it Fairy Tale, I think maybe, got released in their entirety in the US. But then the two albums got chopped up and put together and released as this single album in the UK, which is kind of the reverse of what happened to the Beatles. So well worth getting. And this one was in lovely condition. I mean, you can see the sleeve there hardly looks like it's been used. There's one kind of mark on the record, but it's one of those light scuffs, so I don't think it's going to affect playing too much. But I'm pleased to finally have that. And also in the charity shops recently, there's been nothing vinyl wise, but CD wise there's been quite a lot of things. The highlight of which I was very surprised to see, because I went into one of them one day and there's a whole load of classical stuff, and wedged in amongst the classical was this greatest hits of Sun Ra and his orchestra, easy listening for intergalactic travel. Now, Sun Ra is somebody I've obviously heard a lot of people go on about in the VC, but I've never actually checked out any of his music, because, like many people know by now, I don't like just going online and listening to things. I like to actually have a physical format that I can listen to. So I was pleased to find this. And it was actually a lot straighter than I imagined. I expected him to be a bit, as David Sequoia Flame would say, a bit squonky, but it's not. It's certainly the start. I mean, this early stuff here is all pretty straight jazz. I mean, it's good. There's no denying that. There we go. British Red Cross, 50p. But yeah, he's somebody that I'm definitely going to have to check out more of. So yeah, so that's really cool. And I just noticed actually Dave's put up a video where he found some Sun Ra in a charity shop, I think. I've not watched it yet, but I just saw the title. So that's Dave Dark Dove, not Sequoia Flame. So I'll have to watch that and see what he picked up. But I'm pleased to finally have some Sun Ra, and yeah, I'll have to find some more. So that's 13 and a half minutes, so plenty of time for you to listen to me ramble on. Like I said, I've been having a selling and cleaning year, so I'm frantically cleaning records at the moment. I ordered, with the money that I've created so far, I've ordered storage boxes because my spare room was getting out of hand. So I ordered 10 like big plastic storage boxes, which got filled up much quicker than I imagined they would have done. So I might have to order some more of those, and I'm slowly, but now it's broken down into kind of bite-sized chunks. It's easier to, you know, grab a small box out and start cleaning through them than it is the big crates that I had before, which were pretty unwieldy. But anyway, I'm babbling again. So love to hear your comments. Hope everyone's doing fine, and yeah, take care.